So a client asked me to get them into ChatGPT Ads. A few months ago, that privilege would have cost you $250,000. And guess what? Last week, I set them live for nothing. Around $4, $4.50, $5 per click. And inside of 72 hours, they were outperforming the Google Ads campaigns that we had been running for 2 years. Now, listen guys, let me be straight with you. Google Ads is going nowhere. Neither is Microsoft Ads. That's called scaremongering. Those platforms will still pay the bills this year, next year, the year after that. But there's a brand new auction opening up, and for the first time in a decade, you get to be early and climb into that platform before your competitors even know that it's there. This is the first video of a series, and I'm going to take you from never having touched a live ChatGPT campaign to actively building your own campaign alongside me. No theory, no fluff. 14 years Google Ads and PPC experience. I was there in the early days, and I'm here in the early days for this. Let's get into it. So let me be precise with exactly what has changed, because the headlines that you're seeing everywhere have got it a bit lazy. ChatGPT Ads actually launched back in February. It was a closed pilot, hand-picked brands, large businesses, and you bought on a CPM basis, which means you bought per 1,000 impressions that you got. And the first advertisers on that platform were quoted up to $250,000 buy-in. $250,000 just to buy in. By April, they'd cut that to $50,000, still locked out every small advertiser, and on the 5th of May, OpenAI tore the whole thing to pieces in the US. Two things have changed, and the first one is the one that I genuinely love and that you're going to love as well. They built the ads manager simply. They built it to be simple by design. Properly simple. Not half simple, not simple to them or simple to someone who's technical, but actually properly simple. If you've ever opened Google Ads and felt your stomach drop because of how complicated it is, you can't find what you're looking for because they've moved it, then ChatGPT Ads is the complete opposite of that. All you do is you log in, you pick an image, you write your ad copy, you choose the targeting settings of your campaign, you choose the CPC, you choose the locations, and you're live. That's the whole thing. It just might be the most beginner-friendly ad platform that I've touched in 14 years. And that matters. Why does it matter? Well, it means that you can very quickly get something live and go to market before all of your competitors follow suit. You just need this video. Now, the DOS thing that changed in the pilot is that you paid every single time your ad was shown. So you were paying per 1,000 impressions, whether somebody clicked on your ad or not, no matter what they did, whether they read it, whether they dipped, closed the platform, whatever. If they did nothing, they didn't do a single thing, you paid. Now, you pay per click like you do on Google Ads, like you do on Microsoft Ads. You only pay when somebody actually visits your website. You set the most that you're willing to pay for a visitor, and then they click. And OpenAI suggests starting around $3 to $5. So if you call it, I don't know, $4 a click, if you've ever run Google Ads, that number will feel like a very comfy home to you. Now here's a tell, here's a big tell. Open the bidding options section. I'll put it on the screen now. There's a third choice sitting there and it's currently grayed out, and that's conversion-based bidding. That's the setting that one day, very, very soon, will let the system chase actual sales and inquiries for you, not just clicks. You can't use it yet, granted. It's only just begun rolling out to a tiny handful of accounts. But here's the thing, as that grows, and they've already built the button, they've put the door in the wall. You don't do that unless you know exactly where it's heading. And here's the number that tells you absolutely everything. Within 6 weeks of the pilot launching, the report said that over $600 million in annualized spend was being pushed through it. 600 odd advertisers already in 6 weeks. A closed experiment to $100 million run rate. That's not a feature release. That's not something that has maybe potential later on. That's a new auction being built in real time for real businesses to capitalize on. And the way that we all search is changing every single day. It's the cheapest it will ever be to enter this market today. But cheap to enter and cheap to win are two completely different things. And the difference, well, it's hiding in one word: OpenAI keeps repeating. So Michael, what's the word? Well, that word is decision. Think about how people actually use ChatGPT. They're not bored. They're not thumb scrolling a feed. They're mid-decision. Which CRM should I pick? Compare these two for me. What should I buy? If I want to go running, what are the best running shoes for people with wide feet? That is the way people use LLMs. They've handed the machine their actual intent in full sentences, sometimes full conversations. Now, if we compare that to Google Ads, which gives you a 2-word search and you infer the rest, ChatGPT gets the whole conversation, the context, the constraints, the budget, the hesitation, everything. It knows everything about that individual. So when your ad appears under that answer, the person clicks, that click is loaded. They weren't interrupted. They were in motion, actively looking for you, and your ad was relevant to where they were heading in the first place. OpenAI's own words, you're only charged on the click outcome. So let me explain a little bit about what that meant for a client of mine. Same product, same offer. On Google search, we were paying around, I don't know, $6.20 per click and converting at roughly 1 in 20 visitors. First week in ChatGPT, similar cost per click, around $5, but nearly double the conversion rate because the traffic wasn't searching, it was deciding. And that was always Google's strong arm. If you've noticed something, if you've got a keen eye, you'll see all of the offers that Google have been pushing for new advertisers. $1,500 here, $1,000 here when you spend $200 to $400. You've never seen that before from Google, have you? Because they know this is coming. Now, 1 week, tiny sample. I'd be lying if I called it proof. But the mechanism is real, and it's the entire reason CPCs matter here. You're not buying eyeballs anymore. You're buying people at the exact moment that they're choosing what to do next. Which raises the obvious question. If the intent is that good on ChatGPT and LLMs in general, why is almost everyone about to get this really wrong? Here's what I want you to do right now before the next part. Open ChatGPT on your phone, ask it to recommend a product in your industry or in service, genuinely like a customer would. Watch whether a sponsored ad shows up, whether it's you or whether it's them. Comment if it's you. If it's another advertiser that's already beat you to it, comment their name below. Now this part, this is the part that the hype merchants are skipping, okay? Measurement. OpenAI has built a wall, and you need to understand exactly where it stands. They've launched a conversion API and a pixel. You'll be very familiar with this if you own a business or you run ads. So you can track real events, which you need to do in order to track the return on investment. A purchase, a lead, a sign up, a registration, whatever. The outcomes that actually pay your staff's wages flowing back into the platform. Well, that's fantastic, right? And if you sell a physical product, this next bit is the part that you lean in on. You can now plug in a product feed straight into the ads manager, just like you do with Google Merchant Center and Google Ads. The same structured catalog, you already use it every day. ChatGPT builds sponsored placements off of your product names, your images, and your attributes. So when someone sat there asking the machine, what should I buy for, like my example earlier about running shoes, your actual products can be the answer. For an e-commerce brand, that's a game changer. It's not a banner. That's been put in front of somebody at the exact precise second they've decided to buy. Get your feed in early while the shelf is still empty. But there is a catch, and it's deliberate from ChatGPT, and that's /OpenAI. You never see the conversation. You never get the person. You never get the context of everything that comes back because everything comes back aggregated. You learn that your campaign drove 40 sales, but you will never learn what those 40 people typed into ChatGPT in order to get there. Now, for most advertisers, like myself, that's gonna feel like you're flying with one eye shut. No search terms report, no query level data. The thing that Google folk live inside of every single day is gone. So you measure this platform in a completely different way. You stop obsessing over the keyword and you start to judge it on one thing. Outcomes in, money out. Set up the conversion API properly on day one, not week 6, on day one, or you're bidding blind and calling it strategy. The advertisers who win here won't be the ones with the cleverest targeting strategies, in my opinion. There barely is any. The platform is basic by design, as explained. They'll be the ones whose measurement is clean enough to know fast whether it's working or not, and adapt accordingly. Get that wrong and you'll do exactly what the other thousands of businesses that are joining OpenAI's PPC platform are going to do. And what they're about to do, guys, is a criminal error. But they're about to treat ChatGPT like it's Google Ads, and it will cost them in the long run. They'll port their search keyword lists across, except there's no keyword auction to port them into. They'll demand the search terms report, it doesn't exist. They'll judge week 1 on CPC alone, panic, hit the privacy wall, and pull the budget before data has matured. OpenAI told you the rules in plain English. The answers stay independent. We don't get access to them. You can't buy your way into the actual response. The conversations stay private, and I agree that they should. The user stays in control. This is not a system that you bully with budget. It's a system where you earn relevance inside. So what does that mean? The real opportunity isn't being clever, it's being early. Right now, the auction is thin. Costs are soft. Half your competitors don't even believe that this is a real thing. That is the single best moment to advertise on any platform that has ever existed. And it has a shelf life that's measured in weeks, maybe months, never years. And when you're as experienced as me, you've seen this film play out before. Google Ads in the early days, Facebook in 2014, the people who moved while it was still too new to bother with got cost per results the rest of us would later beg for. Same script, new platform. Come close. Here's where you actually are. You're not waiting for all of the published case studies about how well ChatGPT performs from a PPC perspective. Guess what? You get to write said case study. While everyone else screenshots the announcement and argues about it in the comments, you can have a live campaign learning before the auction gets overloaded. You're not a marketer reacting to the platform, a business owner scrambling to this new shiny object. You're the one moving first while it's still cheap to be right. In the next video, I'm walking you through the exact ChatGPT Ads Manager setup, click by click, including the conversions API step that 90% of people are going to skip and regret. It's the one to watch before you spend a single dollar in there. This will be coming in the next couple of days. Subscribe if you want the new platform breakdowns before they're crowded. I post the ones that nobody else is brave enough to test yet. No filler. See you in the cell.